Hey guys, Nikki here. So today I wanted to talk with you for just a minute about our third eyes, right? This video is actually for my mom, who is not as well versed in this area of study, and she asks me questions sometimes about different things, which is kind of fun for me too because it helps me make videos like this for you. It helps me sometimes remember that people don't always come from a place of understanding that I come from because of the years of study and training that I have completed and the knowledge that I've acquired. So I thought this would be a fun, quick little thing to talk about today. So Mom, this one's for you. So third eye. So she goes to her yoga class a lot, and the woman kind of talks about opening up the third eye or connecting with the third eye. And it's, these days there's a lot more people being spiritual and different things like that. So people know more about crystals and chakras and things like that. But when you say third eye, people are like, oh yeah, the third eye. But sometimes people don't know what that actually means. So your third eye is kind of a space like right here, kind of between your two eyes, right up in here. And sometimes too, if you are somebody who's intuitive and stuff, you can kind of feel it. Now, if somebody presses on mine too hard, it actually hurts. I've actually hit my head with like a cabinet door in the kitchen before, and it smacked me right there. I was like, oh, and it didn't just hurt physically, but it kind of discombobulated me like spiritually and psychically for a minute. Like I had to do some kind of cleansing and some healing on it, because even though it's not like an actual eyeball, the impact, it did, injure it a little bit. So I had to clean that. So your third eye, if you don't know what that is, you know where it is now. Your third eye is basically like your psychic sight, right? So it's where your clairvoyant or your clairvoyance comes from. So clairvoyance means that you can see things, right? So for me, when I use my third eye, just for an example, when I see stuff, I don't see it like I'm seeing out of one of these eyes, like right here. I don't feel like I have an actual third eye in the middle. What I feel like I have is I have kind of an energy, kind of like a beam that will kind of come out like right here, and it sits right about here in my vision, kind of like out a little bit. And sometimes there's like a movie screen, sometimes I just get images flashed upon it, but it's similar to like watching a television or a movie. There's like a flat area where images appear. And that's my third eye giving me psychic information, intuitive information. So one of the examples where I will get this is sometimes somebody will tell me a funny story, and I will see the story in flashes kind of on my third eye. Mine kind of goes off to this side a little bit. Yours might go somewhere different if you're seeing things. And I'll get flashes of that story. So as they're telling it, I can actually see the story happen, which sometimes is funny. Sometimes if you're telling me a gross story, I can actually see it happen. So if I get more offended than a normal person would be, that's why. Sometimes too, it will happen when I used to go ghost hunting with one of my really good friends, Efren. We would, not with the big, equipment and stuff, but we go to places and we see what we can pick up. And when I pick up images from stuff, sometimes I'll see things in the actual rooms and stuff, but a lot of times I will see them from my third eye. I will kind of project them onto like a screen, and it'll show me, like images or just little flashes of things really quickly together that kind of form a movie. So your third eye is really useful for things like that. When you're meditating and you close your eyes and stuff, a lot of times too, sometimes people will see things in front of these two eyes, but sometimes people will see things a little bit like higher up in here, a little bit outward, and that could be your third eye projecting as well. So you want to make sure that you always take care of it too, because if you can't shut it down, sometimes you get an overload of information. If you are just opening up psychically, you might get so much stuff. You might be having completely vivid dreams, and you're like, what the heck was that? That was full color, right? Like all night long, full color movie dreaming. And so these are sort of things that can happen when your third eye is moving too quick. Sometimes you might feel overstimulated, things like that. So you can visualize, you can close your eyes and visualize it kind of closing down and sealing off in whatever way feels like it will close it to you. Another trick that I like to do with my third eye also, I taught my nephew how to do this too, it was so awesome, but I get a lot of stuff at night because the energy shifts at night. So sometimes when there's a lot of traffic coming through and it somehow gets through the barriers, I feel it. Or if somebody's kind of like thinking about me too much or kind of psychically attacking me, I feel it. And where I feel it is right up here. So what I do is I will take a crystal or a protective stone of some type, and I will put it up there. And it actually, if you let it sit there for a minute, it's really cool. It kind of starts breaking that energy up, and it creates a barrier. So it kind of shoves everything back and kind of closes your own stuff off. Like I said earlier, I showed my nephew how to do this because sometimes he doesn't have the best dreams at night. And I was visiting one time, and his mom and we walked in and checked on him, and he was like dead man's position with the crystal on his head. And I asked him how he slept the next morning, and he slept a little bit better, which was really nice for me to hear. But he was so cute, with the little crystal, and I thought, God, that's probably what I look like when I'm doing it with mine too. I'm just out with my little stuff on my forehead. Now, if you do that, I would recommend not leaving it on there while you're sleeping. Just kind of hold it on till you feel better and you kind of start to drift off, because the last thing you want is for that thing to fall down and hit your nose or chip your tooth, or, you know, fall onto your partner's face or something else really traumatic. But that will really help close down your third eye a little bit and your psychic sight. So hopefully that helps give you guys a little bit better idea of like what that is when somebody says like, oh, your third eye, you know, or open your third eye. Like, what does that mean? Well, it means just open to your intuition and see what you're seeing, right? And there's different ways of doing that. Everyone's intuition, or how they gather the information with their third eye, will work differently. Some people see stuff more like physically kind of things. Some people see things projected out. Sometimes people get flashes of different stuff. So whatever way you're getting it, it's not a wrong way. It's just your way, and that's okay. Right? Like, everyone writes differently, you know, everyone will sing in a different way. It's just your way. So don't judge it, just work with it. And if you try to fight it too much, it's really hard to develop that particular intuitive psychic ability. So hopefully that was helpful. Thank you guys so much for watching. You're awesome. And until next time, have an absolutely beautiful day.